As leaders, we know that delegating is good for us and our team, but we often struggle because team members don't always have the ability to do certain things, or they don't seem as motivated to get things done. So we try delegating a couple of times, it doesn't work, and we find ourselves holding back tasks and responsibilities and taking on more ourselves. What we need to do is what we call at Blue Rebel Works, lead the way they need. There's a model of leadership called situational leadership that's really effective for helping us know how to delegate to different people depending on their circumstances. It outlines 4 different phases that people go through as they're learning something new. The best way I know to illustrate this is to share a story of how I learned to ski. As I'm sharing this story, think about the last time you learned something new and see if you can relate to any of the phases I went through. All right, so here I was, my first time going skiing. When we got to the slopes, I was so excited. I could not wait to get up the hill. I was watching people gracefully ski down the hill. It looked so easy, and I just wanted to be a part of it. I strapped on my skis. I was just excited to get up there and give it a go. I was what we call an enthusiastic beginner. I didn't even know what I didn't know. I had tons of energy and I was highly motivated, but I had no skill and I didn't even know what kind of skill I needed. I felt confident, but falsely so. Fast forward a few minutes and I got on the lift, which was difficult in itself, but I got to the top of the hill, promptly fell as I was getting off. After I got myself back up and brushed myself off, I got to the top of the hill and looked down. And that's when I went, holy moly, what have I gotten myself into? There was no way I wanted to go down that hill. This was way more steep than I thought. My skis were so clunky. I didn't know how to maneuver them. I had no idea what to do, and there was no way I was going to make it down alive. I still had very little skill, and now my willingness had plummeted as well. So now I was in a phase called the disillusioned learner. I wanted to take off my skis, hike down the hill, and forget it, not even try this. But I was able to pause and think about this and not waste my ski trip. I got to the bottom of the hill and I hired someone for lessons. Now, lessons helped so much because they taught me step by step how to maneuver my skis, where to put my weight, how to lean, how to turn, all of the different tiny little skills that I needed in order to make it down the hill. So I was able to move into what we call the capable but cautious level. I would take some runs down hills and do pretty well, but then I would take one and I would fall. So I would backtrack a few steps and feel a little less motivated again. But I was starting to build up my level of skill and feel more confident about how I was skiing. So that capable but cautious level. Now, after several days of skiing, I was feeling much more confident. I was doing all the runs, even some black diamonds. And I entered into the phase that we call self-reliant achiever, highly skilled and highly motivated. So that was me learning to ski, going through all 4 phases of learning, from high will, no skill, to having that will go down and having low skill and low will, to starting to learn, so my skill was going up, to finally having quite high will and skill. Now, everyone goes through these development levels as we're learning something new. We might go through some of them really, really quickly. And if we get the kind of leadership we need, the right level of clear direction and the how to do, plus the right level of support, encouragement, and why to do, we can go through them very quickly and stay at that self-reliant achiever. What we want to do as leaders is figure out the level of skill and will that our team members have for the various parts of their job and then lead the way they need.